What is up, everyone? I have high hopes for this channel for analyzing music from anyone to Skinny Puppy to Radiohead to Slipknot to John Mayer. I want my first video, however, to be something truly special. Let me start this video with a story. The year was 2016 and I had just recently gotten my first car. I was a huge fan of Nine Inch Nails and Massive Attack and stumbled upon a band called The Soft Moon. I first heard the song Far, and it gave me hardcore 80s gothic post-punk rock type vibe. When I was exposed to his discography, I fell in love with his music. Songs like When It's All Over or Insides were breathtakingly atmospheric, melancholic, and utterly beautiful. The synth line midway through When It's All Over still gives me chills. I then bought Deeper at Independent Records and listened to it non-stop. If you couldn't tell, I'm a little old school. Inward and Black drew me in instantly. It reminded me of The Way Out Is Through by Nine Inch Nails. I listened to the album frequently and it helped me get through some of the darkest periods of my life. We'll go back to this story, but for right now, let's get into the album. Inward is our introduction to this album, which the name is extremely fitting. Luis Vasquez was something of a computer programmer, I believe, and decided to write music in his free time. Before long, a record label found him and he started producing his own music. In his early years, he lived in a town in the Mojave Desert, isolated and nothing but the sound of wind and insects at night. Much of his music seems to mimic this upbringing. He had found guitar and became obsessed with music. He had early punk influences, but listened to a wide range of music. I can't imagine his excitement when he got his first synthesizer. Both his first and second albums seem to focus mainly on soundscapes. Some of the most unique and creative songs I've ever heard. Then came Deeper, what I consider to be the quintessential album of the Soft Moon. Even just the name of the band makes you think of a dark, desolate desert with only the moon and stars in sight. Deeper is a whole reflection of Luis's journey of discovering more about himself, so with Inward, we break the surface of who this person is. Inward starts with this deep vibrating bass and distorted vocals that lead into Black. The song builds upon the chaos of the synthesizers and drums. It repeats, but this subtle break just builds the intensity of the song. It's like someone breathing in just before the chorus. The lyrics are just two repeating lines. I don't care what you say. Living life This seems to indicate that the protagonist doesn't care what anyone else thinks of him. We then have the beautiful song called Far. Seems to indicate a desperation to escape oneself, a desperation to be someone else perhaps, a desperation not to be stuck within this person who only feels pain. Take me far away to escape myself seems as if it's a plea to not be this person, a person who is not meant to feel this immense pain. He wants to pretend that this deformed version of himself doesn't exist, but he was confronted with it and must acknowledge how truly damaged he is. It's so truly devastating, but he must acknowledge how truly damaged he is. We then go into the utterly beautiful track called Wasting. This seems to reflect the protagonist's despair with not living the life he desired. He wasted all of his time and now he is confronted with the disturbing fact that he wasted time in which he hoped to do things differently. He hopes that one day he may understand why he wasted so much time and potential. The wasting of life that could be applicable to most of us. Staying in a 9-to-5 job that kills us inside when we know we're better and have the desire to live a different life. Was all this time wasted? He seems to deeply regret not being able to start again, to live his life differently. Is it too late? Is it too late to live the life I wanted to? We then come to the track Wrong, in which every single aspect of his life is questioned yet again. We hear repeating phrases of "you're wrong" and "you're right," which demonstrates how truthfully scared our protagonist is at the decisions he's made. I'm in control of my existence. You're wrong. I'm in control of my existence. You're wrong. The pain I feel won't die inside is answered with, "You're right." This shows that the protagonist is not in control of their existence and how their pain will unfortunately always remain. The protagonist keeps asking and seeking validation that their pain will end, but it's always answered with, "You're wrong." Whereas when he asks, "The pain inside won't die," is always answered, "You're right." The "you're wrong" and "you're right" seem to further confirm how our protagonist feels. He asks if he is in control of his existence, which he is always answered with, "You're wrong." Try is where we see the protagonist somewhat accept his fate. Alone, to live with my own thoughts. The burning, it won't stop. This line seems to reflect the pain of being alone, the feeling as if you're the only person who feels this way. We then get into the lines, "The only chance I've got is to elevate my mind. Before I leave my side, I'm running out of time." This song seems to allude to the deep feelings of dread our protagonist is feeling. The repeating line of the song is, "The end is on our mind," perhaps foreshadowing that the journey will not produce any of the answers that the protagonist is searching for. The full weight of this is being cruelly discussed in the last song being, the feelings of loneliness and isolation comes to a head in the next song, Desertion. Desertion is probably my favorite track on this album. The atmosphere and chorus of this song is outstanding. Luis has such a knack for creating beautiful soundscapes. It seems our protagonist is fully aware of the loneliness inside and how it kills him inside. Repeating the line alone. It starts by saying, "I'm alive without a soul, and I belong alone." He feels as though he's missing a crucial aspect to happiness and a deep connection to someone else. He feels like he doesn't have a soul, due to literally be deserted by the ones he loves in his life. "I realize our death is slow, and I'm left to die, alone." The protagonist feels as if it's too late. It's too late to repair his relationships, and he feels that he'll die alone. Something that most of us can relate to. The main lines of the songs are repeated, with a new line saying, "I can't take this deathly glow, so I belong alone." The protagonist seems to acknowledge how his loneliness and desertion will lead to his downfall. The next song, Without, seems to reflect on the aftermath of losing those relationships, or perhaps the relationship he feels he can never obtain. The song is somewhat simple lyrically and repeats the phrase, "Without you in my heart, to feel you within, without you by my side, without you in my life." He has lost the one who used to be by his side. Now he's completely alone. Then we get into the song Feel. Feel is the song that seems to have our protagonist become aware of the emptiness he feels inside. So far, he's wanted to escape himself, has been asking questions about his existence, and confronted the feelings he has about being alone. He starts by saying, "Feel like I'm dying inside. I feel so shallow inside. I feel so empty inside. Why are we alive?" Here comes again the motif of asking questions about his existence. It feels more desperate during this song, however. We then go into the title track Deeper, which I really don't have much to say about. It seems that this song represents him going deeper within himself and trying to get all the answers to the questions he has. We then end beautiful with the song Being. Luis Vasquez stated that he always had a hard time performing this song live. After analyzing it, I can definitely see why. "I can't see my face. I don't know who I am. What is this place? I don't know who I am." After all the questions that Luis asks throughout the album, this song represents the end of its journey. Even the title of the track, Being, is simply what it is like to exist and have no answers to these big questions. The song ends with Luis screaming these lyrics, and the song ends in noise. It seems like this whole time of asking questions of existence, its emotions, and its relationships, it's answered with nothing, simply noise. While seeing this song performed live, and truthfully every song he performs live, I could feel Luis's emotions in his performance, and it was utterly beautiful. A man dealing with problems that have plagued him and has the courage to write these songs and perform 100% every time. Out of all the concerts I've ever been to, this concert had the biggest impact on me. I was 16 at the time and I saw the brilliance in Luis. After the show, I had asked one of the people who were working at the venue if I could possibly talk to Luis. I saw the worker go over to Luis, and he immediately dropped everything and came to meet me. Honestly, he was one of the sweetest and most down-to-earth people I've ever met. I told him about how much his songs meant to me. He signed my vinyl, and we got to talk a little bit. Here was this beautiful soul who I greatly looked up to, and there was no hint of ego or pride while talking to him. This experience stuck out with me, and out of all the concerts I'd been to, this is the one in which I have the fondest memory of. I was then seeing if Luis was touring recently, and to my devastation, I had learned that he passed away from a fentanyl overdose. Luis, you have such a beautiful soul. Thank you for making music to help me feel less alone and helped me through some difficult times. If I were to release an album, my only intention and goal would to make an album that affected me like Deeper and the Downward Spiral did. I just want someone to know that they're not alone. Rest in peace, Luis. You will be dearly missed.